Howdy folks, Jason from the Surf Hermits here, coming at you with a product review for Pi Records. So what are we going to review? Well, today we're going to talk about the Electro Harmonix Soul Food pedal, which is, I guess, an overdrive or a distortion pedal. I'm sure there's people out there that have some sort of fine distinction between those two categories, but for me they're kind of the same thing until I learn more. So we're just running it through a Fender Deluxe Reverb with a Telecaster. Pretty simple. My setup, even when recording, is very simple. I usually have one pedal in the chain besides my tuner, and it depends on what's happening in a tune, what sort of part needs to happen. So occasionally I'll have an envelope filter, wah pedal, something like that. And just for some reason they usually end up being Electro Harmonix pedals because they're cool and they're affordable and they do great things. So I dig Electro Harmonix. This particular Soul Food was given to me by Rod Keane from the Angry Red Planet, which is a great band, another band on Sharawaji Records. Check them out. And he also built this pedal board for me, which is super cool. Keeps things nice and neat. And was probably a hilarious project for him because this is a very small pedal board compared to what Rod runs. He's got a lot of stuff. Check out his rig rundown on Pi Records. He was here for a cool collaborative thing that's probably coming out soon, which we call Sharp, which is Surf Hermit's Angry Red Planet, and it was live off the floor bed tracks, total collaboration, written together, played together. Different than Surf Hermits, different than Angry Red Planet, but definitely some features of both in there, and it's a super cool project that hopefully you will see available in the near future. Enough of the ads. Okay, so the Soul Food. We'll have a listen to the amp without the Soul Food just for the purposes of science. And for the purposes of science, we want reproducibility. We want peer review here. That's what you guys are here for. So in the interests of consistency, I'm just running the amp at 5 all the way across on the knobs there. I have the reverb on and the vibrato on. Running a Telecaster, middle position, both bridge and neck pickups going. This one's a little different because it has this humbucker in the bridge. I'm using my Eddie Van Halen pick, so that will obviously give a totally different sound than anyone else is capable of doing unless they too have an Eddie Van Halen pick. We even have Eddie Van Halen right there, ironically enough, because there's no way I could play anything like Eddie. So I'm just going to play a little melody off of my latest record, Showdown. The tune's called Showdown, kind of a spaghetti western kind of thing. I'm going to play that, well, because it's easy, and 2, because it has a fairly clear sound and we can hear how the sound changes when we switch things up. So I'll just play a little bit of this for you. So, pretty basic sound. Now, for me, the Soul Food is for when I need a little more sustain, when I need a little bit more overdrive to the sound. I mean, the amp gives great overdrive in a sense. Like I've used this for everything, and I'd almost be happy if this is all I had. I could make it work. But this gives something a little smoother than the amp when it overdrives. And that's what I really appreciated about it. Before Rod gave me this pedal, I was using a JHS Angry Charlie modification made by Andy Timmons called the AT pedal because it has like an ampersand AT sign on it. And AT is AT for Andy Timmons, which is a super cool pedal. I still use it lots actually for various things, but it's more of a distortion pedal in a sense, and it's hard to dial it down far enough. And one thing I really like about the Soul Food is that you can dial it down to almost not being there even when you have the pedal on. Why would you do that, you say? you probably wouldn't run it right at the bottom all the time, but there's a little bit of a difference. And as you turn it up, it adds to the sound in a smooth fashion, whereas I find the at pedal and some of the other ones that I've played with, it starts to sound quite distorted in an edgy sort of a grindy kind of sense. You know, forgive my adjectives here. But the smoothness of this is what really gets me about it. So let me just play that thing one more time without it, and then we'll go right to it. So a lot of the time I run this pedal, there's 3 knobs. We'll go step back just for a second. There's a volume, a drive, and a treble control. And so the treble control is obvious. It just gives you more or less top end. And so I have that on here probably at maybe 10 o'clock. I have the volume at 12 o'clock, just straight up. And the drive I have all the way down. So now the pedal's on in those positions. And so to me, I mean, it's all subjective, right? We're all making it up as we go along and pretending we know what we're talking about. To me, it gives it a kind of a creamy kind of boost. And when I say creamy, I mean it in a couple of ways, like, you know, the normal way is creamy. But to me, it's reminiscent of Cream, the band, you know, Clapton, that kind of smooth, you know, distortion that he used to get on stuff, you know. And we don't have it turned up very much. So in this case, it's almost just like a little bit of a boost, you know, it'd almost be a cleanish boost, though it's not super clean. So if I turn it up to 9 o'clock here, it doesn't gain that much more, but it's starting to add to it. So. Yeah, so 9 o'clock. Let's go up to 12 o'clock. See what that sounds like. Yeah, like to me that's starting to get kind of 60s sounding, kind of late 60s, 69, dude. Let's go all the way up. We can hear the amp kind of come on a little bit here. Blew my own lick. So you can see now it's starting to get distorted a little bit. And we'll just go all the way up. All the way up, all the way up, all the way up. I always go to 11. Here we go. Yeah, so it's... distorted, absolutely, but there's kind of a smoothness to it. It's not like playing that through a Marshall or something like that. I really like it, and again, I don't usually run it that high unless I'm doing like a solo or something like that at the outro of some tune. It's just a nice kind of yeah, I guess creamy is the best word for it. For me, it's not super thick. It's not too rich. It's like a low-fat cream or something like that. Soul Food, highly recommended. Is that a product review? I don't know. Only someone else could say. But that's what you got. So thanks again from Jason from the Surf Hermits, and thanks to Ryan from Pi Records. See y'all later.